Hey everybody, this is Tiro, and I'm going to make a comment, a video response to Pastor Joseph Smith, Numbersevenministries, of the last video that he did. I've spoke about this before in one of my videos a long time ago about how so many people are so concerned about how much money that pastors and ministers make these days. And I know probably it's me hating all of this, but that's part of being on YouTube, and I really don't care. He is a dear friend of mine, a true man of God who has a testimony that would blow your mind. He has a heart to serve God with all his heart, soul, and mind, and give up whatever he needs to give up for God. You don't meet too many people like that. But there are several of them who are in the ministry. In fact, my husband and I were in the ministry for 20 years. And it was very hard financially. Because people have this idea that since you're in the ministry for God, that you should be poor. Well, I'd like to know where in the Bible you find that out. Because God wants to richly bless his people. And if it weren't for some people when we were in ministry who paid our doctor bills and sometimes our electricity and things like that, we would have never made it in the ministry. Believe it or not, there are people out there who make $250 a week with a family of 5 and not be on welfare. And I challenge you, how many of you could do that? Very few. You know, and the people, you know, I have a lot of pastors that I follow and listen to every day. And they do require a lot of money because of the things that they do. It costs money to buy pamphlets or promote pamphlets, or to travel to different cities to preach the word. I mean, that just doesn't fall out of the sky. You know, you just don't have this secret God train that transmits you from one place to another. It costs money. And then if you got people working for you underneath of you, and you don't have a very giving congregation, what are you supposed to do? And how about your children? You know, they didn't ask to be in ministry, to be really honest. You know, and my kids were PKs, and they suffered for it quite a bit, because everybody assumes that the preacher's kids are bad kids, and you know, I always come back and say, no, it's the elders' kids who have the worst influence on them. Jokingly, because kids are kids, and they're going to act however they're going to act, and the best you can do is just try to control them. But they want the same things their friends have, and even if they can't have exactly what they have, they deserve a decent life, and some decent clothes, and food on the table, and all that costs money. God just doesn't drop it down from heaven. You know, just seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door will be opened unto you. So it says for us to seek. And if we're out there seeking for ways to make money, I think God's going to bless us. And, you know, I know pastors who have been given Cadillacs by somebody in their congregation. And then somebody sees them driving the Cadillac, and they're like, oh, well, how do they afford to have that Cadillac? They shouldn't be driving that around. They're a pastor. I don't get that. And Pastor Joseph, I'm telling you, he is one of the sweetest, humblest. He's so humble. And he didn't even go into the bugs that are on the wall, and probably how many bugs he devours during the night when he sleeps with his mouth open, whether he does or not. I don't know. We joked around about it. He didn't show you some of the dire straits that he lives in. In fact, he just got running water not too long ago. Not really a good place to get a date or take a date home to for a home-cooked meal, huh? But bless his heart, he praises God no matter what, in his iniquities, in his poor state. He still gives God the glory and the honor. And that's someone that I truly respect. It says that God is no respecter of persons. So it doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, you're ugly, you're pretty, you're crazy. God still loves us. And I know good things are going to come to Pastor Joseph. Part of his building is down where he holds his church. He started his own church. It's not like, you just have to go through his channel and see some of his testimonies and where he's come from and what he's doing for God, because what God did for him. Sometimes being in the ministry is a very hard place to be. And we try to just think of the good things in our lives, but we do have needs that need to be met. We just can't say, okay, the phone bill's due, I don't have the money. Oh well, what am I going to do? Phone just shut off. Oh well. No. That's where we have a distorted view of what ministry is. A ministry is a gathering of people. It's like plural, a ministry. A minister is a person. But when you have a family, it becomes bigger than that. And for those of you who think that we deserve to live poor, I disagree. I think God wants to give us, he says, give and it will be given unto you, pressed down, shaken about, and running over and over and over. I don't think that means to be poor. I think that means to accept God's blessings. And whether you're rich or you're poor in the ministry, God doesn't care. It's people who make a big deal out of it. And I just want to make a shout out to Pastor Joseph, Numbersevenministries. I appreciate you for your humbleness and for your wanting to serve God above all things, even above your living circumstances. That's what you don't find in ministry, is people like that. So if you have a chance, check out his channel. Listen to his many sermonettes. Listen to him talk, and you will see the love of God in him. This is Tira, over and out. God bless.